So this is not quite our official first summer service at TBE, as we still have one bar mitzvah student to lead us tomorrow. But it is the weekend of the summer solstice, so we're going to kick off one of our summer traditions here at TBE, which is to invite one of our congregants to share a word of Torah. And we are excited to invite forward Eric Rosen this evening. Come on forward, Eric, who is no stranger to our Bima. We appreciate that he at least asks to teach us once every year, at least. And you will hear from him that he chose this Shabbat for a very special reason. And I have to say, not only are we honored by your Torah, but we are graced by the way in which you embrace our ritual in our days and make them more and more meaningful. So thank you for sharing your Torah with us this evening. And I have the clicker for the one slide that you wanted to show.
Thank you.
Let me make sure you're set up. I knew you would be taller than me. Come forward.
Okay.
How's this?
Thank you. And if anybody can't hear me or understand me, raise your hand. I won't be offended. And Rabbi Sapphire, you probably don't know that in addition to your supporting me tonight, another member of your family has helped me tonight. So I was coming in tonight wearing sneakers, and someone said to me, "You're 80 years old, Eric, you're wearing sneakers. What's wrong with you?" And I said, my friend Oren Sapphire, who wears the sharpest sneakers, says only the cool kids wear sneakers. And at 80 years old, I still want to be a member of the cool, I still want to be a cool kid. So thank you, Oren. So anyway, Shabbat Shalom again. And I want to thank our clergy for yielding the pulpit and for giving me the honor of delivering another Devar Torah in this sanctuary at TBE, the synagogue community that I dearly love. Once again, I want to thank Rabbi Sapphire, Rabbi Rosen for collaborating with me on this Devar Torah. They are always better with your insights. I asked to deliver this sermon many months ago because I wanted to observe my 80th birthday by delivering a sermon. Last Friday was my 80th birthday, but I chose to do it tonight because, as Rabbi Sapphire mentioned, Rabbi Kalman and Rabbi Rosen observed their birthdays this week, and I wanted to share this also with Rabbi Sapphire, whose birthday is on the 13th of the month. Mine was on the 13th. So I want to share, I hope you share with us the birthday and the cake that the temple was kind enough to provide for us after the service. This, as you will see, is a very personal teaching, and I wanted to and will speak about gratitude. At the time that I thought about speaking about gratitude, I had much to be grateful for as a member of this community. There was nothing that would have permitted me to foresee how much this community did for me in recent months. Fortunately, this week's Parsha, Shalach, gives me the context in which to say what I want and need to say. In this Parsha, the Israelites have been freed from slavery in Egypt for a very few weeks. God's plan was to bring them to the Promised Land at about this time. So God spoke to Moses, telling him to dispatch 12 men to scout the land that God would give them as promised to the patriarchs. The scouts did as directed, returned, and confirmed that this land was indeed a land of milk and honey. However, 10 of the 12 scouts indicated that the inhabitants of the land were too strong, Nephilim, giants who would be too powerful for the former slaves to overcome. Only Caleb and Joshua disagreed. They stated that because God would be with them, the Israelites would overcome the occupiers of the land, and the Israelites would indeed conquer the land that God had promised to them. Although this Torah portion does not mention that God is angry at the Israelites for their lack of gratitude for all that God had done for them, freeing them from slavery, providing sustenance, and not recognizing and knowing that God that God had the power to deliver the Israelites safely into the Promised Land. Well, although this sorry about that, although this Torah portion does not mention the lack of gratitude that the Israelites had shown to God, as I mentioned, freeing them from slavery, providing them from sustenance, and so forth. I did find a parsha that said, quote, complaining hearts often displease God, especially when they show little gratitude for what God did in the past and little faith for what God could do at the moment. We Israelites have come a long way, and gratitude is a central tenet of our tradition. The Shabbat Tefillah expresses gratitude and eschews prayers of petition, asking God for anything, except, of course, for health and the preservation of life, also central tenets of our tradition. Tonight, I want to express gratitude. When I asked to do this sermon tonight, little did I know what would transpire for me over the following several months. A car accident, my wife's health issue, selling and moving of our home of 26 years, and most of all, a palpable and deep depression. Never in my life did I experience depression, and certainly not the depth that I experienced until just 3 months ago. First, I turned to TBE and Tamar Foreman, who you were introduced before as our mental health clinician. She has been there with me, supporting me, encouraging me, counseling me, helping me obtain treatment, and following up and studying with me. She sends me hopeful Shabbat greetings nearly every Shabbat, even when she is in Jerusalem with her family. I am so grateful for her and a community that has the foresight to hire a mental health professional and one who is so talented and caring. I urge anyone who has a need to reach out to her and study with her this summer, as I am going to do, because she's a terrific teacher. I am so touched and honored that you're here tonight, Tamar. I can't thank you enough. I also received a lot of help from the rest of the community. Rabbi Sapphire and Susan Karen encouraged me, supported me, and they brought Hamantaschen to my house. And they did that knowing that I could not feel up to coming on Purim and wearing my Commander Spock shirt and my Phantom of the Opera costume. So thank you for doing that. The entire clergy team was with me. Staff, we have such a talented staff here who are kind and with whom I've worked for many, many years. Emily, Elise, Lynn, Gloria, Danielle, Linda, and Jenna did the same for me. Friends too numerous to mention offering meals, rides, assistance with packing, and encouragement, and gracious and understanding when I declined their help simply because I was feeling so down. This is TBE, and I am eternally grateful to this community, and fortunately with its help, I am feeling 100% myself. It occurs to me that depression or any of the challenges I faced this year may feel like facing a giant that is too big to overcome. But Caleb and Joshua in our Torah portion teaches us that we always have a source of strength to turn to, whether it's God or especially here within our community. Difficult experiences I had during my depression was my fear that I would not be up to speaking here this Shabbat. Without the help that I received, I would not be standing here tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So Eric, I want to thank you for your courage and your teaching, and my wish is that because of your courage and your Torah, someone else will seek help and receive the same sense of shalom that you did. So let's continue as we return.